Hey guys, this is Modern Mountain Monk, and I just crossed into Rocky Mountain National Park. I parked at a trailhead parking lot that's not like in the park, and then I just entered the boundary trail area. And so yeah, there are ways to access Rocky Mountain National Park without all the crowds, but I don't know much about that either, but I just did it apparently. Yeah, so a couple things is the weather's nicer out here than last weekend. Well, I think I'm at lower elevation than last weekend, so that's part of it. But last weekend was pretty cold and rainy. It was I guess sunny at the beginning of my hike, but today it's like upper 50s, and it just has been sprinkling off and on. It's been mostly sunny. It's been awesome. I have a little bit of a cold, so my voice might sound a little bit different. I might sniffle a little bit, but that's the nature of life. And so a couple of things is lately I've been really pushing myself, like working out a little bit extra hard, meditating a little bit extra longer, maybe doing an extra yoga asana here and there, getting a little bit less sleep and kind of dive into my own consciousness, into my heart. And so that's part of it, is pushing yourself. That's really part of it. And part of the path, I guess. I don't really know what it I'm referring to, but it would be the spiritual path. And for me, it's the desire to know God. A lot of like Western religions, Christianity, Islam, it's like it's a lot of like praying to God so that your human life and our human lives can be better. So that's part of it. But also like with a combination of that with like more of a meditation mindset, more like a yoga or Buddhist approach. Not as much Buddhist, because a lot of Buddhists don't really believe in God. But it's the desire to be in union with God, which is what yoga is. Yoga means union. And so I want to know God. I know certainly that I've had experiences, and I also know that God is in the background of my consciousness. So that's another thing I kind of experienced yesterday, or realized yesterday in my meditation, is like what people call like a realization, is you're tapping into who you are. But who you are is always who you are, so it doesn't stop. It's more like oftentimes if we're, like at the beginning of our path towards awakening or union with God, we interpret it as an experience, but really it's who we are. And I think what happens is we're blind to it, or like it gets covered up. There's like a blanket of I guess non-clarity that so that we can't see our God nature, our Buddha nature. And so we believe that we're not connected to God at all times, even though we are. And so I see that like I'm connected with God all the time, but I don't always realize it, like it gets covered up in non-clarity, by non-clarity. So like the non-clarity would be like ego and fear, and not realizing our hugeness and things like that. So I have such a desire to know God not just here and there, but like all the time. And, I want to be of service to God. St. Francis said, "Let me be a vehicle for thy peace." And how I interpret that is like, how can I be like a light being for God's love and for the universe to shine through me as the universe wills, not as I will. Because the universe will do what it wants. God will do what he or she wants. And we're actually at the mercy and grace of God, not the other way around, obviously. And also, we're not like disconnected from God, living this human life only. Our human life is meant to serve everything else. We're meant to increase and expand love and peace and power and faith, to everywhere at all times, to infinity. So that's kind of where I'm at, is like, why am I pushing myself a little bit extra hard? Well, first of all, I've kind of already mentioned that, but like a lot of the other spiritual teachers that I know push themselves super hard. For example, Adyashanti admits, Adyashanti is a non-dual teacher, like pretty straightforward non-dual. He talks a little bit about love, and a little bit about God, but not much. It's more like the traditional, like Buddhist, awakening to Satori, which they say in Zen, like awakening to the boundless peace and seeing that you are the boundless peace that is connected to everything else. That's what Adyashanti mainly teaches. And he pushed himself really hard. They say, a lot of non-dual teachers say, like, end seeking, like end the search, and then you'll find it just by ending the search. Well, a lot of those teachers, like, seeked. The proper word is sought, I think. They searched. They really, really searched. And by doing that, they did tons of spiritual practice. Like, there were days where Adyashanti would, like, meditate for, like, 18 hours a day, And other teachers, like, that I know, they, like, ate just fruit for months on end. They, like, exercised like hell. They meditated like hell. They did yoga like hell. They did isolation retreats. They spent like all of their money going to retreats and getting massages and things like that. They so they used up a lot of their money, and they like went months and years without holding a job, without a savings account. Spent it all towards like their path towards God. And that's what a lot of monks do too. Kind of the sun just came out. Nice beautiful area here on the east side of Rocky Mountain. A lot of monks, that's what monasteries are, is they're out of society and you don't have a job, you don't have a savings account, and your whole life is dedicated to the service of God or the universe, depending on if you're a Buddhist or Christian monk. But there's a lot of similarities between them. So, and as a modern mountain monk, like, that's, as my channel, I just started naming it, I'm in the world, but, I don't want to be so stressed out about it or from it or by it. So, I will want to start to slowly build a savings account. I want to have a job, but I don't want it to be so incredibly stressful where I can't, like, go hiking in the mountains or can't go on meditation retreats. You know, the way that I believe is the path to God. This society really overemphasizes career and money and materialism. So I think that I want to like serve people, and people is society. People are society, so I want to serve society, and a good way of doing that is through a career and job. But you know, I kind of want to live a little bit on the edge of it too, like literally. You know, like live like a couple miles outside of town, like on a mountain. That's where I would like to live, you know, rather than in the middle of, you know, the big town that I live in. So, you know, it's all about process too. You know, it's also about being present, but it's also about process. Like where's my energy heading towards? Is my energy like what I'm doing on a daily basis? And like, what am I building? What am I evolving into? You know, that's equally as important, or if not even more important than like just being present and like noticing what's here now. Well, like we can be even more connected to God in the quote unquote future by doing like spiritual practice and by surrendering now. You know, so it's kind of a paradox. It's like we're living for the future, but also we're living now. So that's kind of it. I'll end it with this nice scenery up back here of the mountain and the stream. It's almost like the end of the video is exactly at the kind of the pinnacle of the hike, and when I'll probably turn around and head back to my car. So, peace from Rocky Mountain National Park. See you guys. Bye.